Hey guys, and welcome back. So we worked all these examples in class, and I'm just going to work a couple more with you on this video so you can kind of rewatch it in case you didn't understand something in class. So we're going to start with number 4. So this is just factoring, and we're using a lot of the same strategies that we did last week. So we start by making our X puzzle, and on the top, we're putting the product of A and C. So we're multiplying 5 times 12 to get 60. And then at the bottom, we're putting our B, which is 19. Both the 60 and the 19 are indeed positive. Then we're going to find the factors of 60 that will give us 19. So I'm going to put 60 over here. Factors of 60 are 1 and 60, 2 and 30, 3 and 20, 4 and 15, 5 and 12, 6 and 10, and that is all. So go through, and the ones that will add to be 19 are 4 and 15. So we put 4 and 15 here. We then make our box. In the box, we put 5n squared, the numbers from the X puzzle, and the C value, which was 12. Then we look for our GCFs. So the GCF of 5n squared and 15n is 5n. The GCF of 4n and 12 is 4. The GCF of 5n squared and 4n is just n. And the GCF of 15n and 12 is 3. Once you've found those, then you can go ahead and write your parentheses. So it'll be 5n plus 4 times n plus 3. Remember that you can always double check that back by multiplying. So you can do the multiplication of it just to make sure that it's correct. So you multiply everything in the front times everything in the back. So 5n times n is 5n squared. 5n times 3 is 15n. 4 times n is 4n, and 4 times 3 is 12. Combining the middle terms, we get 5n squared plus 19n plus 12, which is indeed what we started with. So you can always double check these back by multiplying. Solving these equations is going to be very similar to how we did it last week. You're still going to make sure that it's equal to 0, which this one is. Then you're still going to make your X puzzle. So you'll still put A times C, but now we're just going to put A times C there. So 6 times 6 is 36, and our B is negative 13. So we want factors of 36 that are going to give us negative 13. So we have 1 and 36, 2 and 18, 3 and 12, 4 and 9, and 6 and 6. So because we have a positive C and a negative 13, that means that we need to add to get to 13. So we know that it's going to be 4 and 9. Since 13 is negative, we know that those signs will be the same. Then, just like we did earlier in this video, we are going to make our box. So we have 6b squared, negative 4b, negative 9b, and negative 36. Sorry, positive 6. Then we will look for our GCFs. So the GCF of 6b squared and negative 4b will be 2b. The GCF of negative 9b and 6 will be negative 3. The GCF of negative 9b squared and 6b squared will be 3b. And the GCF of negative 4b and 6 will be negative 2. Remember, you always want to keep the sign of the b's. Then we will write our factors. So these are 3b minus 2 times 2b minus 3. And that is equal to 0. And this is where it's just like before. we're just going to set each factor equal to 0 and solve each equation. So we can add 2 to get 3b equals 2, and then divide by 3, so we get b equals 2/3. And then do the same thing here. We add 3 to both sides, so we get 2b is equal to 3. Divide by 2 and get b is equal to 3/2. So our answer set is 2/3 and 3/2. So hopefully that helps. If your equation is not equal to 0, you do want to make sure that you get it equal to 0 first. So for example, in number 4, we see that it's not equal to 0, so we want to get rid of that 33k. And we do that by subtracting 33k from both sides to get 3k squared minus 33k plus 72 is equal to 0. You always want to make sure you go k squared k, no k. The other important thing to make sure you check is to make sure you don't have a GCF. If you notice, 3 will divide evenly into all 3 of these numbers. So we're going to divide everything by 3. So we'll write the 3 outside. So 3 divided by 3 is 1, so we get k squared minus 11k plus 24 equals to 0. And then this is actually just like what we did last week. So we want to make our x puzzle. And you can still use our same process and put a times c at the top here. Just remember that a is 1. So we'll still get 24 on top, negative 11 on the bottom. And then our factors of 24 that give us negative 11. So 24 would be 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, and 4 and 6. Since c is positive, our signs need to be the same, and we need to add to be 11, which is 3 and 8. So it'll be negative 3 and negative 8. Since negative 3 times negative 8 is positive 24, and negative 3 plus negative 8 is negative 11. Then we will make our box. So we have k squared, negative 3k, negative 8k, and 24. Finding our GCFs. The GCF of k squared and negative 3k is k. The GCF of negative 8k and 24 is negative 8. GCF of k squared and negative 8 is just k. And the GCF of negative 3k and 24 is negative 3. So then we can write it right over here. We're going to have 3 times k minus 8 times k minus 3 equals to 0. Since 3 can never be 0, we don't really worry about that. So we look at k minus 8 equals 0 and k minus 3 equals 0, which will leave us with k equals 8 and k equals 3. So I hope this helps. We will be doing some more of this tomorrow in class for extra practice, and you can always ask me if you need help. I will see you tomorrow.